This is a Sapphire 300 sheet centrefeed, and this is a 300 sheet centrefeed from an online marketplace. We're about to put the products to the test to learn which offers the best value for your customers. And today we're going to declare a champion as we undertake challenges, including weigh-ins, dimension face-offs, and to top it all off, the winner will even go face to face against a hydraulic press. Because, well, why not? And with that said, let's introduce the Centrefeed, starting with 300 sheet Centrefeed we bought online. What surprised us was the price. No, seriously, at Fourstones we explored what would happen if we were to sell the products through this marketplace. It's a tough fight, even for a manufacturer. Especially when you want to offer a higher quality product, you can easily get overlooked by the noise of the many low-cost options where the reviews are interesting. That said, even if it was easier, we wouldn't want to compete with our customers anyway. We just want to know what your challenges are so we can help. Next up is our Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed. One of our lowest length options, it still packs a punch and is our strongest contender despite being the lowest price point Centrefeed we offer. Introductions out of the way, let's start with the very first of our 7 challenges. Now, let's quickly talk about the labels. Labels help end users identify products, often displaying specifications, credentials, and important information such as product codes and barcodes. Now, unfortunately, we've had to blur the label from the 300 sheet Centrefeed that we bought online, so you'll have to take our word for it. But straight away, there is no specification on the label, meaning end users don't actually know what they're using. In comparison, the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed clearly displays the product specification. It reads 300 sheets and 200mm sheet length, giving a total length of 60 meters. And it's 170mm wide. Whilst we admit it's not as straightforward as putting the full meterage on the label, end users can work out the full length and area of the roll, which is more than could be said for some out there. The Sapphire label also proudly displays its credentials, including the FSC recycled 100% logo, guaranteeing this product is made from 100% recycled content, as well as the CHSA logo. CHSA stands for Cleaning and Hygiene Suppliers Association. And they hold their members to account too, performing multiple audits a year to ensure what is on the label is what you get. Now, to be fair, we're not actually going to score this test as we've had to blur one of the labels. But we're confident that end users would prefer to read the CHSA certified specification on the label. Now that we've got the labels out the way, the weighing games begin. First up, we weigh both cases, with the 300 sheet Centrefeed purchased online coming in at 1.8 kilograms. Whereas our Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed weighed an impressive 2.14 kilograms, giving the first point to the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed. But really, we didn't even need to do this challenge, as straight away, just holding the cases, you could feel the difference, and if we could feel it, so would an end user. Nonetheless, this raises the question, does the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed have heavier packaging? Well, let's find out. And this time, we're scaling things down to a single roll. Starting again with the Centrefeed purchased online, it weighed 0.3 kilograms. But the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed still came out on top with 0.36 kilograms. And because it's the paper that matters, we even repeated this challenge with the cores removed. And even then, this meant another point for the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed. Next, we move on to dimensions, and we're eager to see just how the Centrefeed measure up against each other. So let's kick off with diameter. A roll's diameter is the distance of a straight line across a circle. This can be measured using a ruler, or, in our case, a fancy diameter tape that you can run around the circumference of a roll, and straight away we can see the 300 sheet Centrefeed that we purchased online comes in at 181mm. Meanwhile, our Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed measures 159mm in diameter. Now, we'll count this as a win for the online marketplace Centrefeed, but is bigger better? We'll leave it up to you to decide the real winner there. The average number of Centrefeed on a pallet used to be around 55 to 66 prior to the pandemic. Nowadays, it's more like 84 to 91. But why is that? During the pandemic, there was a big push to fit more paper on a pallet, and the best way of doing this was by winding the rolls tighter to get an extra case of product per layer. You see, by fitting more Centrefeed per layer, there are a number of benefits. Firstly, you're reducing the amount of plastic that's needed as the pack sizes get smaller, meaning less packaging is required. It also meant the cost of transport could be spread across more products, lowering the cost per unit, and arguably the most important reason. This also leads to reducing the transport associated carbon emissions per product too. So whilst I agree larger diameter rolls look more substantial, in this case we argue that shipping less plastic, saving on transport costs, and reducing the transport associated carbon emissions is a solid win. We'll leave it up to you to decide the real winner there. Next up, we'll measure the widths of the roll, also known as the cut size. To do this, we just measure along the side of the roll like this. Here you can see the 300 sheet Centrefeed from the online marketplace has a width of 165 millimeters, whereas the width of the Sapphire Centrefeed is 170 millimeters. That 5 millimeter difference straight away equates to 3% less paper. So it's no surprise that the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed picks up another point here. At this point, you may be wondering why we're carrying out these challenges. Is it even fair? Or are we just complaining for the sake of complaining? And the answer to both of these questions is, well, no. You see, we believe that there is actually a place for this low-cost, low-meterage Centrefeed. In fact, that's why we launched our Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed in the first place. But we also believe that end users must be aware of what they're getting. And following the pandemic, paper consumables have gone under a lot of shrinkflation, and sometimes this isn't even being communicated to end users. At Fourstones, our mission has always been to supply quality paper products with ethical and sustainable practices. And as part of our drive to understand what quality standards end users want, we question when is small too small? And more importantly, at what point will end users choose to just give up and go elsewhere? Now, back to our super challenges, which includes finding out what happens when we introduce a hydraulic press to our winner. But first, if I said to you, measure the length of a 150 meter Centrefeed, you would probably run away, right? But don't fear. At Fourstones, we created an easy-to-use measurement guide that you can carry out without any fancy equipment. In fact, we added a handy calculator to make it so simple, even my boss can manage it. Hi. This can be found on the Fourstones website, and if you're watching this on YouTube right now, use the link in the description below. We'll start by comparing lengths. We do this by taking 4 sheets from each roll and measure the length of each sheet to get an average. The reason we take an average is to help reduce variances in the sheet lengths caused during manufacturing. Most high quality Centrefeed won't have this issue. The 300 sheet Centrefeed from the online marketplace had a sheet length of 170 millimeters, and the sheet length of the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed is 200 millimeters. Clearly, there's a large difference here, with the Sapphire Centrefeed providing 15% more length per sheet. This could be the difference in what an end user requires to clean up a spill, providing longer lasting, more valuable Centrefeed, resulting in happier end users. An easy point for the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed. Next, we count the sheets. Our measurement guide provides 2 options for this, and we highly recommend you visit our website for the guide and pick what works best for yourself. For this challenge, we place a roll on a rod and count 20 sheets. We'll continue to do this until the roll is empty, and then we'll count all those sheets together to get a sheet count. We do this for both rolls. And there we have it. The 300 sheet Centrefeed from the online marketplace came to just 295 sheets, whereas the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed came to 302 sheets. Now that we have the width, sheet length, and sheet count, it is time to finally put this hard work to action and work out the total lengths. And to do this, we'll be using the Fourstones How to Measure Centrefeed calculator by simply entering the width we took earlier along with the sheet length and sheet count that we have just taken. We can get a summary of the full length and square meterage. And as quick as that, the 300 sheet Centrefeed from the online marketplace is 50.15 meters, whilst the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed is 60.4 meters, meaning the Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed is 10 meters longer. That's 18% more length, giving the final dimension point available to our Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed. So there you have it. The Sapphire 300 sheet Centrefeed is victorious, and its product code is BC300E. Winning these challenges wasn't the aim. It was to highlight that not every Centrefeed is equal, and sometimes we should just stop and ask ourselves, am I really getting a good deal here? This competition also inspired us to include the meterage on our 300 sheet Centrefeed label, helping improve transparency within the Centrefeed market and giving your customers the right information to make educated decisions when picking their Centrefeed. And now, It's the time that you've been waiting for. What happens when we crush the winning centrefeed with a hydraulic press? If you've enjoyed this video and would like more content like this, please like and subscribe. We've also added a link to our LinkedIn page too. If you don't follow us, now's a great time to click that button. Or if you just want to learn more about Fourstones' extensive range of paper products, head over to our website for more information. Until next time!